Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is brought to you by a Squid Game shirt and a ketchup stain right here. Just gonna get it out of the way now. Yeah, a lot of my clothes have stains on them, but it's not that I'm a messy person. It's just the stains tend to find my clothes more than I look for the stains. Um, Today, I would have liked to had a video of me being at work, but we're still not having the luck quite there yet of everything being up and operational. So unfortunately, none of that for right now. But today, there's a museum here in the town that I'm at that I'd like to bring you guys along. It really highlights the history of the state of Oklahoma, and I mean, it's quite a history. So hopefully, you guys sit back and enjoy the video, and let's go on an adventure together. I can't forget the jacket. The thing I always fail to realize is there's always going to be wind, so I need to get a better mic. Let's go. Let's head on into it. How cool is that? You got both World War I and World War II, and over here Korea and Vietnam. These are all the folks from this county that fought in those wars. This is cool. This is going to be interesting. This here is just some of the artifacts that you can find in this area prior to being fully settled. But it says that there was no land set aside for them when the U.S., I guess what is the old U.S. government, came and moved into the area. Pretty much took everything from them and set them aside. Pretty much cast it out. It's pretty hard to see a lot of this, but this gentleman, George Washington Long, used this camera here. And he was one of the very few to actually be allowed in to take pictures with the Native Americans. And this was right before the turn of the century into the 1900s, when their traditions of the Native Americans started really fading out. And he was able to capture a lot of these cool pictures of these. And these are the original pictures. These aren't reproduced pictures. How cool is that? Go ahead and show you these QR codes. You guys can pause here if you want to scan these and view his collection. You guys were all busy out trying to get your Mercedes and your G-Wagons. This is the original RV camper, Mercedes, Bentley, all of it in one. This is how they travel across the country on the pretty much on everything. And this is where they lived, cooked, slept, everything. Yeah, this was the luxury of the day. Look how cool that is. That's so cool. This is what they used to live in. I don't want to touch it, but that's a buffalo hide. Buffalo. And here's a depiction of that. How cool is that? This whole little area talks about this local town and pretty much how they got their footing inside of southwest Oklahoma after this place was still a territory. And of course, religion plays a big deal. They're big pride of Baptists. It says Baptist, Methodist, and Catholic, which is the I think the predominant religion here in this town. But I guess early life was quite the start, because them being so close to Texas, they could really get a lot of stuff in due to the railroads. And these things, this is a mail cart. You imagine getting your mail by that thing these days, or even by this. But this whole first section is really cool. Surprising, just such a little area of how much history that there's involved in. I mean, especially in this area, after they closed off half the western part of the trails, once they started going to Dodge City and Kansas or whatever, the history there is really, really wild, because tons of people, was the Old West still, and a lot of people there would fight and get into bar fights and kill people. So it was quite a dangerous area. It says here, in this day and age, it was hard to both get doctors and police involved, because it was just so remote and rural and dangerous to live out here. So to have either one of these in your area was a pretty decent commodity. Turned out to be quite quite the experience, but I think our well's going dry. Pretty interesting little spot. The only thing is it's very historical, but to this town, and doesn't really explain much. Look at that poor fish. We got fish in here. Look at that. I think that one's dead. Oh nope, he's alive. Oh, look at all this. This is cool, man. It's got old farm equipment and stuff. Tiny little homes and all that. It's pretty neat. All of this is real cool. Let's walk into here. Old farm equipment here. What else we got? Oh, this is something cool. Look at all that. So a lot of this is all due to cotton ginning. Most of this, I believe, I'm not entirely sure on that stuff, but this house, a good old windmill. How cool is all this stuff, man? This was for, oh, look at that, there's a ladder for climbing buildings, fires. Sounds nice. That's for corn. Yeah, that's why you can't take nobody here. I ain't gonna put their dang handprint on there. Jeez. What we got in here? Alright, it's the guy that, the metal worker, the old blacksmith. Put all his cool things in here. Something about this old history that I really tend to enjoy a lot. All the types of wire you had when making fences. You got your barbed wire and listen, you get your center ridge, top running wire. It's all different. It's all that made the fence. Hello. Let's go outside. There's a building over here I want to show you guys. It's kind of hilarious at the same time, but it just shows you the history of people. So this here's one of the original dugouts of how they used to build homes into the earth kind of deal back in the early mid to late 1800s, early 1900s, and this is one of the last surviving ones. It was moved to this location in 1976, and here's the part I like. It's like I came out, obviously, it's different times and stuff, but you gotta really duck to get in this thing. Look at that. So, this is where you cooked, ate, slept. I don't know who's sleeping in here, if you had a spot made up for, I guess it's got 2 chairs, but it looks like you'd easily fit a lot of people. There you go, you're making your butter and washing pots and stuff. And let me see, I could probably reach you guys up into here. And then you could put people up here and into there. If you had kids or whatever, be a good spot for your kids. I got a duck walking out of here. And then I got an old church building over here we should go take a look at too. But overall, it's a pretty nice little museum. Cute for a small town. But yeah, so this is a house for, jeez. Guess there's steps there. You gotta watch out for those. Man, I almost died. Who dies at a museum? But here, let me flip you guys around. It's one of your first original homes of the area. Look how small it is. Look at this glass. The sign on the inside said it was an original glass to the house. Everything's original. And you got your floor upstairs, so imagine it snows quite a bit here, and if you had to go upstairs for any reason, you had to come outside. And I'm not saying it's super cold, but it's definitely not warm here in the winter time. Unlike today, I guess, but global warming. How cool is this, an original home? I don't know, I understand why they got, I don't know, look at this. And then you also get all these airplanes. I'm sorry, I got the memory of an attention span of a goldfish here. So that was a big thing to the museum too, was how they have all this cool stuff that they settled and developed here in this little town. And I mean, it's quite the history of the area. I mean, this museum more or less geared towards, I'm sorry, this wind is going to be bad, geared towards more or less the history of this location. And it's wild to know that this was still a territory coming into the 1900s, and then it finally got its footing and officially recognized as a state, you know, by then. But this was quite the experience, you know, and hopefully this video footage comes out well enough for you guys. I mean, I guess we can only get better. I might need to invest in an actual camera and not use a cell phone, but it's unfortunate your cell phone has a better camera than most cameras nowadays. But let's go ahead and head on out of here, and we'll see what else we got going. And just before we go, I just wanted to explain like this, how cool this is. It's like the precursor to what I do for work. Essentially minus that and then the windmills they have in Europe or whatever, though, that mill the grains and whatnot. But essentially it's the same concept, except obviously well and advanced. But a simple wind catching device that pumps water. And I thought these fish were dead, but no, they're definitely alive. But I don't know, that's cool. I'm kind of a nerd for a lot of this stuff. I like it. I couldn't leave without getting my wife anything, so I ended up getting 2 of these old coins. Let me flip you here. One being this Indian head penny, which this one was dated in 1893, which that's pretty cool. I think value-wise, these things are worth about what you pay for them, really, is all that is. And then the second one here is the American buffalo nickel, which is cool because this has both the buffalo and the Indian head on the back. But these things, I took this out and I wanted to see what year this one was, and it's super glued to the back. So there's one that's actually very famous, and it's the 1937, which was minted in Denver. That one's pretty famous because it only has 3 legs on the buffalo. But some of these, if they were minted like out of San Francisco, they only minted about 1.5 million of these nickels, and I guess the low mint rate of them is very rare. But those, you know, honestly, they don't contain any silver or anything. But it's more or less out of the history fact and knowing that the buffalo nickel was only minted from, I want to say it was 1900 or so. I don't remember when, but it stopped in like the early 1930s, maybe the early 1940s. I don't remember. But that Indian head penny only ran for a couple of years. It stopped minting those in like 1903. So they may not be worth anything, but I think out of a historical value, and knowing that penny's 100, penny and nickel are almost 100 years old. Well, the penny is 100 years old, but the nickel is almost there on its own to 100 years old. Is pretty impressive if you ask me. So hopefully this is going to be a test if my wife watches these videos all the way through. But ultimately, I think that's all I got for today. There's really none of the other museums or locations are open today, so they all open tomorrow or Saturday. So maybe I'll include those in this video. If not, I'll probably make another video on those later. But if you stuck around to the end, I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your favorite part on the video. Hopefully this one's going to have Spanish subtitles as well, because I know a lot of my family down in Mexico likes to watch these videos too. So, but other than that, I mean, I appreciate you guys for watching, and hopefully enjoyed the adventure. I really enjoyed learning the history about this place. It's, for a small town, it's filled with a lot of information. So if you guys want, check it out. It's called the Western Plains Museum in Altus, Oklahoma, and it's definitely worth the check out. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.